second. A great bull rush by Chris Jones.
He's not banking on the skill that he's been blessed with.
It's a Kelce, great catch, touchdown! Kansas City to 10, still not down. Oh, what a run! Out of this world. Sinks it up the middle, intercepted by Matthew. The Honey Badger doesn't care.
And welcome to a victory edition of Chiefs Rewind. Mitch Holthus with you, voice of the Chiefs, along with the man we call the shop, the barber shop, the Spider-Man, Shawn Barber. Chiefs get the victory over the Broncos, 22-16, hard-fought win. 11's the number. 11 straight wins over the Broncos. Ties an all-time series record. Chiefs go to 11-1 in the 11th time that they wear the red on red.
Man, sure, you know, they say it's hard beating a team twice in one season, and then sometimes you have to beat them 3 times in a season. But beating a team 11 times straight, that's a tough task. And so sometimes it gets ugly, but I would rather have an ugly win than a pretty loss.
Well, the Broncos made it ugly. Let's give credit to their defense. We're going to hear from Andy Reid here in a second, but there's 2 things that jump off the page. The Chiefs were 3 of 10 tonight, Shop, on third down conversions. They were 0 for 8 in Denver in October. 3 for 18 against the NFL's best offense.
Well, what you know about Denver's defense, they love to get after the passer, and they love to play aggressive style. They make you make plays. They make you catch the ball, possess it, and they're always ball hawking. They're always after you. So you got to take your hats off. They did get after it today. But as we know, we went up and down the field, a lot of yardage. In the red zone, some calls, you know, a touchdown didn't happen. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. So we left some points on the board, and we left it be a field goal game, kept them in the game. And as we know, when needed to, we ran enough plays and got a late field goal in order to ice the victory.
But the Broncos, the reason they're 4-8, they've turned it over too much. They're last in the league in giveaway-takeaway ratio, last in giveaways. 2 takeaways tonight. And the man that did it, the Honey Badger, Tyron Matthew, and who's going to join us right now. Yeah, heck yeah. Let's bring in number 32. One of the things that you and I talked about in the offseason was leaving some plays on the field, Tyron, and this year's team seems to have a propensity to find the ball, get the ball. You got 2 of those tonight. What about your interceptions? Let's start with the first one.
Well, it's all about, you know, doing your job. I think all week Coach Spags, you know, preach 1 + 1 you know, equals us. And I think what that means is if everybody go out here and do their job, you know, we're able to play to the best of our abilities at all times. It's not always going to be pretty, but I do feel like, you know, we've been opportunistic, you know, this season, closing out games, you know, making big stops when we need it, getting the ball back to our offense when we need to, and we got to keep that going. This is December football. We're trying to roll into January with a lot of momentum, and so it's going to be important for us to kind of continue to make those plays that come to us.
When we talk about the landlord, the rent was due. You collected the rent early in the first drive, and you collected it late. Getting 2 picks, booking. I call it a booking game. You get made a big play early, a big play late. Let's talk about the mentality throughout the game. You know, there was never, it seemed like it was never a level of comfort. There was never a period in this game where it gave you any comfort as far as our defense feeling like we can just pin our ears back and go after them. You had to be prepared for the run and the pass. It was a close game throughout. Let's talk about your mindset going, you know, after that first big play, and then how you felt once you closed it.
It's all about staying focused. You know, you try not to get too high and try not to get too low. You know, you realize this is a division game. You know, it counts twice. We're playing against a quality team, and, you know, it's going to come down to, you know, the 4th quarter, you know. And so for me, it's all about, you know, not only myself staying focused, but trying to keep my teammates focused, you know, until the clock hits, you know, 000.
Going to ask you, too, the different things you're asked to do in Spags' defense. We saw you blitz tonight. We saw you cover deep. We just saw your first interception, your second interception, 2. You're in middle coverage. All the things that you personally have to be prepared for to play Spags' defense and all the stuff he dials you up for.
I mean, it's a big responsibility. You know, obviously it's a great challenge. That's part of the reason I came here. You know, and, you know, obviously my teammates do a great job. You know, Dan has been stepping up, making big-time plays. You know, L'Jarius Sneed has been, you know, playing lights out for us. And, you know, our cornerbacks do a good job as well, just playing press man, you know, throughout the entire game. So for me, it's all about settling down, trying not to do too much, and just make the plays that come to me.
All right, that's the third quarter of the season out the way. Again, started off 4-0, went 3-1, then a 4-0. Like you said, it's December football. We roll over this right into the playoffs. What do you want to see, even from this defense, taking it to the next level? What needs to be done even at a higher level as y'all get to finishing this last quarter of the season off?
Yeah, I think for us defensively, it's all about staying together.
Yeah.
It's all about being one. And as long as we can do that, as long as let's take a step back. I felt like we didn't play that well on first and second down tonight, gave them a lot of third and shorts. And then they was able to kind of switch up their tendencies. Whereas, we've been watching film all week and they've been throwing the ball in those, but they came out today and they ran the ball. So for us, it's all about continuing to adjust, to what teams are presenting to us. And I think our coaches do a great job. But if us as players can kind of stay on top of that and anticipate those things, we could have got off the field much more tonight.
Final question has to deal. They got out the gate with a 65-yard run, but they're also a good boot team. What kind of pressure does that put on you guys to trust your eyes to play defense against a team that can run it and then run boots effectively?
Yeah, well, I think it all goes back to that quote, 1 + 1 equals us. And if everybody can just focus in and just do their job, play after play, I think we're tough to beat. We may not be the greatest defensive unit, but when we're playing as one, we're damn good. So I think if we could continue to believe in that motto, I think we'll be all right going forward.
I only have 5 fingers, but that's 5 picks, my friend. 5 picks on the season. Enjoy a victory evening. Get ready to go to Miami again.
Yes, sir. Thank you, my guys. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Tyron Matthew, the Honey Badger, 2 interceptions tonight. The Kingdom landlord with the picks. The Chiefs get the victory, 22-16 over the Denver Broncos. Let's go right to the podium now. Big Red addressing the media.
Okay. Really, there's not much of any injuries to announce for you. I think you saw where Clyde dressed out, didn't play. He didn't practice this week, and I just felt like he lost some weight with the stomach virus, and I'd pulled him back out. The other guys did a nice job of filling in for him. Tyron, I just saw Tyron did a beautiful job on starting the game and finishing the game with 2 interceptions, and that kind of led the way. That was great enthusiasm for the defense. I thought our defense, played a good game, and really rallied towards the end of it in particular. And then Bucker, I thought was stand out with his 5 field goals there. So he did a nice job. And then offensively, again, Kelce and Pat and that connection there did a nice job. Tyreek had a couple touchdowns. I'll take blame for the one that I've never had a receiver that didn't know he caught the ball. So, he came off and said he didn't catch it, and I probably should have hung on to that just a little bit longer to look at the replay. But I've been doing this a couple of years. I've never had that situation, so it was a new experience for me. I'll try to do better. The next time with it. But what a heck of a job by him. He had 2 touchdowns taken back and away from him. So, but my hat goes out to the Broncos. They came in and played a nice game. Vic had a great game plan for both sides of the ball and his special teams group, and he's great for this division, man. He's a heck of a football coach, and they just keep getting better and better. And that young quarterback of theirs, Locke, local kid, man, he keeps getting better. So it's great competition, and I'm glad we came out on top today. So. We'll go back and get ourselves cleaned up with a couple things and get ready for the Dolphins. Anyways, with that, time yours.
Let's go first to Herbie Teope. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned the touchdown that Tyreek Hill had that you didn't call or challenge. How soon do you rely on the folks upstairs to ping you and say, hey, that was a score for you to go ahead and challenge?
Yeah, they were on it right when they saw it, and that was right when we were punting the ball. So, it was a bang, bang thing, and we didn't have time to really look at it before we kicked the ball. So we kicked it with about 10 seconds left, and normally that's kind of where you let it go down to, right in that area, and go with it. But I checked with, with Tyreek. He came off, and, you can normally tell with a receiver if he knew he had it or not. and especially Tyreek. I mean, so he was as surprised as any of us that he ended up with the football.
Let's go next to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Andy. I know you have bigger goals here, but you did clinch a playoff spot tonight. I was just wondering whether you'll take a minute to appreciate that. And Brad, I'll have one quick follow-up.
Yeah, listen, I'm proud of the guys and the coaches. So I thought the coaches had a good game plan. We finished it up when everything wasn't going right. So in years past, maybe you don't win that game. And I appreciate the intensity and the championship attitude that these guys showed today and demonstrated. So and the desire to win the game. And then listen, to win or to be in the playoffs, that's a great thing. And you're right, and we do have work to do here. So we didn't talk at all about it in the locker room about the playoffs. We just talked about getting ourselves ready for next week and be ready to go down to Miami and play them.
All right, and I know you also had some positive tests overnight, and I was wondering if you could take us through that situation and whether there was a time maybe you thought this thing was all unraveling on you.
Well, I mean, when they talk to you early in the morning like that, I mean, it's you're not sure what's real and not real. I knew they had been having some problems with the computer system from last night, but we also, we thought we were clean with all that, and then it came back this morning where we weren't clean. So I figured maybe there was a glitch there, and they were great with us. I mean, they said, let's just give us an hour or so, and let's just work through this thing and see if we can't get it right, and it all came back, where we were okay.
Let's go next to Sam Mellinger. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Andy, a lot of fans expected this to be a blowout, right? But I know you'd like to see how you guys respond in these situations. You touched on this a little bit just in that answer to Adam, but what did you see on both sides of the ball in terms of just effort, competitiveness, and that kind of thing with, in a game this close?
Yeah, so listen, frustration can set in on those, coaches and players. I didn't sense that as we went. They just wanted to get it right, and they knew we were close on so many different occasions. So everybody just kind of bared down and went to it and reached a little deeper, and instead of complaining, they just reached a little deeper and tried to find an answer. And so you do that with this crew, normally it's going to work for you. And I thought it was just a matter of time before we got ourselves in the end zone. I didn't do a very good job in the red zone, giving the guys opportunities to get themselves in. And so I'll go back. I'll work on that part, and we'll make sure that we put these guys in a good position to make some plays down in there, whether it's the run game or the pass game.
Yeah, hearing from Andy Reid there, he said it all week, it's going to be a tough game, particularly with the Vic Fangio defense. And that defense has played at a high level for Denver all season long. We now have, I believe, with us the man that he's redefining his position. Honest to goodness, when you look at it statistically, Kels, you're now listed with guys like Justin Jefferson and Stephon Diggs and Julio Jones. 8 catches tonight, 136. Congratulations on a victory. I think 4 of your top 7 games in your life are against these guys. Heck of a win, brother. Way to go.
Thank you very much, guys. I mean, this is the ultimate team game. And I can't be myself without, first off, Coach Reid dialing these things up and creating the madness that is the Kansas City Chiefs offense. And then on top of that, Patrick Mahomes and the gang and Tyreek Hill, Mecole Hardman, Sammy Watkins, the list goes on, man. It's a blast coming into work every single day, and I just appreciate it and run with that.
Kels, I can't imagine what it's like to go against you in practice. I had the honor of actually guarding
Gonzalez?
Tony Gonzalez for a number of years while I was here in Kansas City, and we used to give each other fits. And I would love it on Sunday when he would go off on the other team because he would come back like, Barber, you got me there, you got me there. So I know that going against Honey Badger and the guys we got, DeJuan Thornhills, all the cover safes we got is just elevating your game to the next level. When you talk about when you talk about goals for the season, now that we got through the first 12 games, about to go into the fourth quarter, and then obviously playoff berth, congratulations on that. Where do you anticipate taking your game personally in the last 4 games of the season and then throughout the playoffs?
We just keep stacking, and that's the mentality of the entire team. Is we keep reevaluating ourselves after every Sunday, looking in the mirror first as a man, and trying to figure out how can I help the team personally. And from there we go into practice. We take leadership and coaching, and sharpen our tools in terms of our fundamentals and what we have to do. And then the game plan is presented to us, and we just try and attack that challenge for whatever it is the next week. And next week is going to be Miami, and we're just going to focus on that, the task at hand, and keep it rolling from there.
Kelce, let me kind of dovetail off Shop's question. What do you think it is this year, with you and Patrick in particular, because you have gone to another planet, man. You and Tyreek, I mean, we're seeing things we've never seen before in the NFL, and you had 5 1,000-yard receiving. You got that tonight. That's your ongoing record. But it seems like it's at another level. What do you think has happened to put you and Patrick on some other wavelength that we haven't seen before in the league?
Man, it's such a tough question. All I can relate it to is the fact that myself, Tyreek, Pat Mahomes, and Coach Reid, and a lot of guys on this offense have been here for a while, and you've seen the growth. It didn't happen overnight. You've seen the growth. You've seen guys develop over the years, from game to game, understanding the intentions of the play caller even more so than the last game, and it just keeps building, like I said. And once you find the success within your routine, your weekly routine, it just takes off. And we've had a lot of we've had a lot of fortune in terms of staying healthy and being able to be on the field for each other. And definitely can't take that for granted. And we just appreciate going to work every single day with each other. And I mean, what you see on Sunday is just all of that put into one.
I mean, I'll be honest, the reason it's uncoverable is because the routes you're running, there is no number with those routes. I've seen tight ends run options, pumps, sevens. There's a route tree. Your route tree is a bunch of just squiggly lines, because what you and Pat and Coach Reid are doing, once the initial read breaks down, it's all instinctive. Y'all are on the same page, mental, that mindset. He knows where you're going to be. It's like twin brothers anticipating where each other's going to go, and he throws it before you even break. There's no way to guard that. There's no way to cover a guy when they're running routes like backyard routes. And so I got to say, man, you've took the term backyard football to a whole nother level. And I hope we see a lot more of that and keep going, man. Over 100 yards, 8 receptions, a touchdown tonight. Man, you definitely brung it. And we look forward to you bringing it a lot more as the season keeps going, bro.
I appreciate that. I always tell guys, especially the younger guys, this game isn't meant to be played on paper. Yeah. So all those route trees, all those numbers that you see on the route tree, you know what I mean? That's just to tell you where you need to be on a certain play and at a certain point. So, or at a certain time in terms of how many steps Patrick has. As a route runner, all I'm doing is I'm painting a picture for the quarterback. And whether I'm Picasso or I'm some Kansas City artist down the street, however it has to look, I just have to be where I need to be at the end of the day, and that's what I try and do is I just try and paint a picture for Pat back there at quarterback and let things develop for him and make it easy on him.
One more question, Kelce. You're also a spray painter, or at least a body shop painter, because your blocking this year, when I review the video, Coach and I have talked about it. It's next level, man. Mm-hmm. And I want to ask you about how this game ended, because D-Will was out there, and you're peeling off runs and moving it from the 25 basically down to their 30, and a couple play actions there. But how good was the running when it had to run the ball in this game, and it might have been the difference at the end?
I mean, that's a mentality that we have, that we've developed over the years. As Coach E.B. would say it, we have to be able to run the ball when they know we're running the ball. Yeah. And that's man up and mano y mano, us versus you. You know what's coming. And you know what? The better man is, we're going to find out who the better man is. And sure enough, the general, dirty. D-Will came in and he ran like a maniac, like we know how, and he ran downhill and got us a lot of big-time first downs there towards the end of the game that helped us out in the fourth quarter to seal it.
All right, Kelce, it is fun watching you play, man, every week. It's just like some Netflix series. Way to go, my brother, and keep it rolling.
Let's keep this movie going, baby.
Yes, sir.
So much fun, man. I love playing for the Kingdom. Shout out to the Kingdom, baby. We got more of where this came from.
You bet. And going to Miami next week, site of Super Bowl 54 championship. But I think as people can overlook that, and we can take for granted just the high level he's playing at. No tight end has done what he's done.
No.
He's gone to some other place. How many tight ends do you see? You talked about T-Guns. Nothing against T-Guns, but they single side Kelce against a corner, and they do it over and over and over. He's against corners running double moves.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, I'm starting to believe the film study doesn't work against the Kansas City Chiefs offense because you're studying film based off of, like he said, traditional route trees. You see a 7 route, you see an option route, you see a dig route. Well, our routes do not fit those normal patterns. Our receivers are running out, in, up, and down before they get to the spot. Our quarterback is rolling right, rolling left, looking to the left, and then throwing it back to that spot at the same time. And so it's beyond the norm. What our offense is doing is next level. You talk about the offense going to that next plane, that next plateau. Defensively, trying to keep up with what we do offensively is not even about the shifts, the motions, the pat motion, doesn't catch the ball, goes right to the running back. That's the first level of trying to keep up with us. It's actually trying to stay with our guys throughout the duration of a play. It's becoming impossible.
The only time you can stay with Patrick Mahomes is when he's at the podium because he's stationary. Let's go there now.
Hey, Patrick, kind of a weird play there with Tyreek on that touchdown in the first quarter. At what point did you realize that he had actually caught that ball, and how'd you find out?
I didn't realize until after they showed the replay and we'd already punted. I told Tyreek in the locker room, I said, man, you're so good at receiver. You don't even know when you catch touchdowns these days. Let's go next to Harold Kuntz. Good, Harold.
Patrick, congratulations on the victory. Nice shirt, by the way. When it comes to Travis Kelce, his 5th year with over 1,000 yards receiving. You've obviously been there for 4 of those. Just talk to being a great teammate that he is, and then just how reliable he is on the field, how you've been able to just go to him with another 100-yard receiving day today.
Yeah, I think, you said it with a great teammate. I mean, he really doesn't care how you win the football game. He just wants to win. He's going to compete every single play. He's going to block. He's going to catch. He's going to run after the catch. He's going to do whatever it takes. And so when you have guys like that are that talented and they don't care about who gets the success, then you have the guys that really can go out there, execute, and win football games with. Go next to Pete Sweeney. Go, Pete.
Hey, Patrick, congratulations on the win. I want to talk to you about the touchdown play to Kelce. It was a free play, and I was wondering if that changed and maybe made you take, I wouldn't say a chance, but, made you step up and throw it a little bit maybe further than you would have. And then why has that become such a knack for you, enabling yourself to get these free plays?
Well, it didn't really change. It was I can't believe it might have been second or third down, whatever it was. But he I don't want to give away my reads, but he's one of my first reads, kind of an alert that kind of look at kind of how he releases out that bunch. And obviously he got open, and I gave him a chance to make a play, and I was able to throw it just far enough. But for me, I try to use cadence as much as possible. I mean, quick cadence, hard counts, whatever it is, just to get an advantage in any single way. And the offensive line does a great job of sitting in there, really paying attention, and we work on it throughout the week. Let's go next to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Pat, when you scramble outside and you throw a unconventional pass, just how much of an advantage do you think that gives your teammates who are still working for being open in the middle of the field? And how successful do you think that's been for you now, year 3, compared to when you first started doing it, when you first started playing in the NFL?
Yeah, it's something that the guys do a great job of working for me. I think that's a big thing. I mean, I can scramble and throw it however I want. If the guys aren't open, then the plays won't work. And so you see these guys that they continue to play the play out, and they play until the whistle is blown, and then they get back and do the same thing the next play. And so it helps out a lot that those guys do that, because there's some plays that I scramble for a long time and they don't get the ball. And so they have to make sure that they're playing every single play with the expectation that they're going to get the ball thrown their way, and they do that. Let's go next to Blair Kirkhoff. Good, Blair.
Hey, Patrick, could you speak to this team's ability and confidence to get the ball late with a small lead and keep the ball? It worked last week in Tampa, and today you got the field goal out of it.
Yeah, I think I mean, we're just battle tested. I mean, we've played in a lot of tight football games, and we have to find ways to win. Obviously, we didn't play the way we wanted to as far as in the red zone of executing and scoring touchdowns instead of field goals. But in this league, you have to find a way to win. Every single team is going to bring their best shot and going to have a chance to beat you. And as long as you come out with the win in the end, it doesn't have to be pretty. And I thought the guys did a great job of battling today and finding a way.
Let's go next to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Patrick, you guys clinched a playoff spot today, and I know you have bigger goals than that, but just wondering whether that's something you're going to take a minute to appreciate, or are you just going to move on to Miami and start getting ready for that game?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a big deal. You want to kind of your first step, you want to find a way to get in the playoffs. But like you said, we have bigger goals. We understand it's a step-by-step process. We have a great football team we're playing this next week that's playing really good football, and we're going to have to go down there and have a great battle with them. And so we're excited for the opportunity of taking it day by day and finding a way to keep winning football games.
The next to Matt McMullen. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Patrick. So you guys got so close to the end zone there 4 different times, and Harrison got field goals each time. How good did it feel to finally get that touchdown to Travis late?
Yeah, it felt good just because when you move the ball like that and you don't score touchdowns, that's how you you keep games tight. And we got to do a better job of that. The last 2 weeks, we haven't found a way in the red zone to score touchdowns, and we've been good at that all year long. And so you want to make sure that you find a way, especially going into the late part of the season and into the playoffs, of scoring when you get those opportunities, because that's what changes games.
Got time for a couple more guys. We'll go Todd and then Vahe. Go ahead, Todd.
Hey, Patrick, there was a report out there that there was some positive tests that came to light, I guess, overnight, and the game was maybe in somewhat of jeopardy. Did you hear anything about that? Were you aware of that? And does it let you kind of know how close these things can be to be happening or not happening just hours before a game?
Yeah, I mean, I found out in the morning. I got my sleep in, and so they didn't wake me up or anything like that. But I mean, obviously, we're in difficult times right now. I mean, as far as the league and as far as the world, and you have to kind of take the challenge every single day of just waking up and expect the unexpected. And we understand where we're at, and we have to make sure that we accept that challenge every single day, battle through adversity, and whenever we get a chance to be on this football field, just appreciate it as much as possible and play to the best of our ability and try to win football games.
We'll last to Vahe Gregorian. Goodbye.
Hey, Patrick. You guys have had now, I guess, 4 straight games that have been down to 1 score. And I guess in some ways you could say that reveals that you guys, people can compete with you guys. But I think it must make you feel like you guys have a certain kind of fortitude or mettle. What's that doing for you guys to win these close games?
Yeah, I think it builds up that confidence that you can win games different ways. I mean, if you look at how we've played the last few games, we've won in every single way possible, it seems like. And the defense stepped up today and kept us in the game whenever we were having lulls, and then we found a way to keep battling. And I think that's the biggest thing is in this league, you have to find a way. Not everything's going to be easy. We're not going to be able to throw 70-yard touchdowns to Tyreek every single play. I mean, hopefully just a few of them. But we're going to go out there and battle and find a way to do whatever we can to just have more points than the other team at the end of the game.
Patrick, we appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we got Tyron.
Find a way to battle and get the victory. 11 straight wins over the Broncos. Again, that ties an all-time series record going back to 1964 to 1969. Chiefs 11-1. And by the way, number 11 is Alex Smith. Go get him. Washington football team tomorrow at 4 o'clock against the Steelers. But I want to ask you about Harrison Butker tonight. We mentioned Denver's so good in the red zone. Man, they put up a curtain for the Chiefs. Only 1 touchdown. But how clutch was Butker hitting all 5 of those field goals? Those weren't easy.
Yeah, and I like, what I like about Buck? I like the way his mindset. He talks about it's a program. It's like a golf swing. It's a sweet swing. And even for the last few weeks, there's been like an ebb and flow to his game, right? There's been a game where he had a phenomenal game, then he struggled for a few weeks. Now he's back to being phenomenal. I think he's turned the corner and realized how important the kicking game. Going into the last quarter of the season, going into the postseason, these kicks, every point, every extra point, every field goal can be the difference between continuing on in the playoff and going home. And he realizes that there's a lot of hopes and dreams that rely on that leg to do what it's supposed to do. And I think Butker has that mentality. He has that mindset of being almost obsessed with the process being so much greater than the product. It ain't about just making a field goal for him. If he expects a certain flight path and for it to be dead center, then he wants to know exactly why that didn't happen. He'll make the corrections. So I love the fact that he goes to work that way.
And one final thing I want to get your thought on here, because now it's happened twice and against division foes in knockdown, drag-out games. Remember the Charger game, false start. He got backed up 5 after he hit a 53. Yeah. Then he hits a 58. It happened again tonight. They pushed him back. So you and I did a Defending the Kingdom on him this summer about how he competes. Hey, you make the shot. No, wait a minute. You got to do it again, and you got to back up and make it. How tough? I mean, he's got to be tough mentally to do that.
Yeah, and I think that's why he says, you know, he says every kick is his own kick. Every kick, he doesn't. It doesn't matter if he has to do it 3-4 times. I remember one game he had to do it 3 times from 50 yards at the end of the game for a game winner. He's such a professional about what he goes about and does, and the way he goes about his job, that I think is just it's almost like the routine, the discipline of the place to the place to hold the kick. It's just it's like a trilogy. It's just he knows exactly what he expects from himself, and he holds himself to such a high standard that he expects to make every kick that's placed down there. He doesn't care if it's 60 yards. He doesn't care if it's extra points, what the weather is, conditions are like. He's a true professional.
Well, the trilogy is interesting as we move on to the next 2 weeks. As the next 2 weeks, get this, the Chiefs will go to Miami and to New Orleans.
Okay.
They've won 2 Super Bowls. They've won them in Miami and New Orleans. Next week, the Chiefs are headed to Miami, the site of their Super Bowl 54 championship, to meet the Miami Dolphins and probably Tua Tagovailoa. He's Shawn Barber. I'm Mitch Holthus. Enjoy your late Sunday night victory and a division victory, 11 straight over the Broncos. Thanks for joining us on Chiefs Rewind.
Rewind is brought to you by Ford, the official car and truck of the Kansas City Chiefs, and by Community America Credit Union, the official banking partner of the Kansas City Chiefs.